Hello, butterflies. Um, I'm just wondering if I'm the only one, but I'm not, that is feeling like there's something deep down that you don't even know it's there necessarily. Something deep down that has been conditioned within you, maybe from your childhood, maybe from decades of a specific relationship, maybe from a job that just you did or didn't like, and these things have stayed with you even though you aren't necessarily conscious of it. I'm just not trying to be cryptic. Look, let me just tell you what I'm saying here. Um, so the other night, this was Monday, so it was almost a week ago. I was settling in for the evening. My husband and I had had our cocktail on the porch, and just everything was so lovely. It was a beautiful evening here in the mountains, and I was settling in to probably watch an episode of Friends, if I remember correctly, because that's usually what it is. And just out of the blue, so we are part of this online supermarket co-op thing. I guess I can say it's Thrive. Hey, maybe that's an affiliation. I don't know. Anyway, so we have a yearly membership to Thrive Market online. It's great, by the way. And we didn't have anything that I knew of in our cart or that had been ordered, that was on its way, blah, blah, blah. And just out of the blue, John just goes, hey, just asking, do you know anything about this charge, this $59 charge from Thrive Market? And a switch went off in me. All of a sudden, I was like, wait, look, I'm having a hot flash now just thinking about it. I didn't order anything. I don't know why that charge is there. I didn't get an email to let me know it was coming. The money was coming out of the account. All this stuff, and I'm getting more and more upset, just like completely irrationally off the cliff here. And it continued. For an hour, I cried, I fussed and fumed, and I just made myself feel terrible for something that was obviously my fault. I let this happen. I can't believe this charge was there and I didn't know it was coming. Completely unnecessary. Irrational is not too strong of an adjective. And I, in the moment, was thinking to myself, what in the world is going on here? Why are you feeling this way? Next day, okay, so I realized Monday was the first day of fall. Monday was still a full moon. And the next 2 days were Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish tradition. And as I understand it from what I've read, so let me back up. First day of autumn, you're changing seasons. You're going from a season of more brightness and light to literally a season of getting ready to rest. You know, the leaves are coming off the trees. Everything is moving toward a season of peace, quiet, sleep, internal getting ready for then the season after that. Anyway, what I realized was that if I understand this correctly, I want to read more about it, that a lot of what Rosh Hashanah is about not just letting go of what's not serving you, but purging it out, like pushing it out, really allowing yourself to say no more to certain things. And the stress that I felt Monday night, being so upset about that $59, thinking to myself, can't believe I let this happen. And no, John wasn't upset at all. He was more upset that I was upset. But what I realized was that I had been living so long, years and years and years, even partly from when I was growing up, because we didn't have tons of money. I mean, we were fine. We always had what we needed. But I remember once a month seeing my dad sitting at the dining room table with the checkbook out and all the bills and paying the bills to mail them away. Just a very methodical thing to do. And I also thought about all the years when our kids were little and growing up and how close to the bone we lived. Seriously close to the bone sometimes. Like, I'm not sure how we're going to pay for these groceries close to the bone sometimes. And what happened Monday night when I didn't realize, so the $59 was the annual re-up of your subscription. And I just didn't realize it was time for that to happen. That's all it was. Didn't think about that at the time, but I realized that all of that was in here and in here about, if this had happened 20 years ago and I had accidentally allowed $59 to come out of our account without knowing exactly what it was for and exactly who it was going to keep afloat, and it would have sent our account into overdraft, or it would have meant that we couldn't then buy those groceries that day, or it would have meant that we couldn't then buy the soccer cleats that one of the kids needed, or we couldn't then say to that child, yes, you have permission to go to the movies and get popcorn with your friend, because we don't have the money for you to do that now. That was still in my head, so ingrained for so long, that is what I'm hoping I purged out completely on Monday night, because I don't have to live in that mindset anymore. I didn't even know I was still in that mindset until this thing happened. And it's stressful. And the one thing that I want to do above all else is to help women lower their levels of chronic stress. And sometimes stress that you don't even know is there comes out to bite you in the behind, and it can completely derail you. And it's part of being human. The good news is, I do believe that the timing, if you believe that sort of thing, between the new moon and the end of the season and the Rosh Hashanah and the purge, get it the hell out now. Get it out. Let it go. Don't look back. And, maybe someday something like this pops up again because it's so ingrained. But you're aware now. You're more aware. And when you can just allow for yourself to know, okay, I'm human. That happened. I'm past it now. It's over. Oh, it's gone. Also a good cry every once in a while. It really is cleansing, and it's not bad for us to do that. As long as we know that this will make us stronger, this is part of being human, this is something we recognize that was in here and in here that doesn't have to be there anymore. It doesn't have to be part of our muscle memory any longer. We can build a new perspective. We can live into, I don't have to worry about that financial thing itself anymore. I can be comfortable. I can breathe in and out. I can remember that all of our kids are on their own and they're okay. They're actually amazing. They're better than okay. They're all so good. And I'm good. And John and I are good. And so all I wanted to say was, like, don't beat yourself up for being human, but do recognize when these kinds of things pop up and figure out a way to breathe through it. Talk to somebody if you need to. Acknowledge that this is something that's still in here, and maybe see if there's any way that you can, even just in the littlest tiniest bit, start to let go of. So anyway, that's my story for the day. Good news, you are enough already. Man, I did not feel like enough on Monday night when that was that kind of cry where you go, it just was like, I was so I digress. You are enough just the way you are. There's never, ever, ever, ever been anybody like you, and there ever, never, ever, ever will be again. You were sent here for a divine purpose. You were sent here to share your story. No matter how messy it is, no matter how you think you're the only one that's been through whatever that story is, I guarantee you, you're not. Maybe the way that it happened and the exact details are unique to you, but we've all been through the things. And when you share your story, it allows others to own their story, to feel okay in who they are around that story, and then they can share their stories. And the more we share, the more we connect, the more we build community with each other, the more we can let go of those things that no longer serve us and build what does serve us from the foundation of, yeah, you're already enough. You don't have to do X, Y, or Z to get to be enough before you can do all these things you want to do. You're already there. You're amazing. You're incredible. And if you don't think so, you don't have to believe it yet, because I'll believe it for you. I know that it's true. God doesn't make mistakes, and you are here for a divine purpose. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your Sunday. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.